Buddy, Natalie comes back, spirit and coffee. Got my coffee here. Mm-hmm. My Nespresso machine is amaze balls. There you go. It is amaze balls. Make sure that you stay hydrated. I used to say this every morning, and I have not been saying it, but I really feel that we need to stay hydrated. So I got my water too. Mm. As you drink your coffee, you drink your water as well. Okay? I'm telling you, better drink your water. Okay, let's get started. Good morning, Jeff. Good morning, Kim. Good morning, Jonathan. What do I have on here? Good morning, Podbean listeners. Those who are getting on. Okay, let's get started. Before I just go all crazy. Okay, life. Life is crazy, huh? Let's just start there. Life is interesting. Um, So, as you guys know, I've stepped into this new role. Hi, Will. Good morning from the Philippines. I started this new position, right? This new job, right? A job, which is fun, right? I'm having a good time, but I was kind of taking myself a little bit serious. And so here's the deal, and I want to talk about taking life too serious at sometimes. At some point in your life, you're just like, and you're taking shit too serious. And then you start to look at it and you're like, really? Life isn't that damn serious. It's just not, okay? Um, so for me, and I always talk from my own perspective, what I've been up to and what I'm doing is that I was like, go, 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 go. We got to get people into the gym. We got to get people healthy, And I'm like giving myself a headache. Okay. That's what I'm like on go mode. I can't turn it off. So I've asked for advice from, friends who've done. I'm not going to call it sales because it's not really selling you something. It's really more enrolling into or caring so much about someone's health, caring so much that I want to get people healthy. I want people to understand what it feels like to feel good, right? And so I'm like, get in here. I don't care. Well, if you're not in here, then if you're going somewhere else, as long as you're working out and staying healthy, fine, whatever. Of course, I want you to come to my, sports and wellness or where I work because it's a club and there's so much to offer. And like those days when you don't feel like pushing, you can go do a yoga class or you can go sit in the hot tub or you can go swim in the pool or they have everything. So it's a club and it's pretty cool. I love the place. Anyway, but taking it so serious, and it's kind of funny because my friend's like, okay, you're selling membership to a club. Chill out. It's not that serious. And I was like, it's true. Why am I taking it so serious? Well, I am in a way because I care about people's health. I want people to feel good again. And I love people. So I'm like, come where I'm at. Why don't you just come work out where I'm at? And then we can talk and see each other and you're getting healthy. And then I can see you and I can see that you're taking care of your life. You're taking care of yourself. And then that makes me happy. And then I'm like, all right, people are doing good for themselves, right? So, but I was taking it so serious that I was giving myself a headache. And I was like, this is not good. So, the first thing that I'm learning from this process, because I told you I'm a newbie to this process, even though I've done enrollment, I'm not going to call it sales, but enrolling people into stuff all the time. But I've never had to depend on a paycheck for it, right? Like money coming out of it. So I just naturally enroll people because I love them and I want to share the things that I have or do with them, like my Nespresso machine. Everyone should get one. I love it. Am I going to get paid to say that? No. But it's different, right? And so it becomes a different mindset. And what I noticed, okay, step number one is you must disconnect and take care of yourself and your health and your well being. And I think it's very easy for someone in a position like this to let their life slip away from them very quickly. Okay. Good morning, Corinne. It's easy for people to let their life slip away, especially when they're so focused on, work, 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 work. Now, I saw myself going into a spiral and giving myself a headache. Like I couldn't turn it off. I had to call my friends who are like seasoned salespeople who've done it for years. I'm like, dude, how do you turn this off? Because it's 10 o'clock at night and I'm messaging people. What am I doing? Like, go to bed, Natalie. What are you doing? It becomes this obsession. It's really quite interesting. It's really weird, especially when you believe in something so much and you want to tell everybody and you want everybody to join in with you on something. And what it does is it allows you to go into an extremity that's probably not healthy. So, what practice am I putting into place? Okay, so I work at a club and I love working out there. Okay, good morning, Doreen. Now, I said, I'm going to work out here. It's going to be awesome. I'll work here. I'll work out here. I'll live here. And I just realized very quickly within the first 2 weeks that's so unhealthy. That is not healthy. It is not good. Good morning, Jose. And I said, okay, how do I allow myself to find my way back to health, right? And still be successful at this career that I'm shooting for, that I'm trying, I want to be the sports and wellness guru. Like, I don't care. I want everybody to know. Like, I'll wear their logo on my forehead. Why? Because I believe in what they're up to. And by promoting them, I promote myself. And by promoting myself, I'm promoting health and wellness. So I align with it. For me, it's all good. Okay. It's good. Now, I said, what do I get to do? What practice do I get to put in place, right? Because you guys know I'm about practices to find myself back to health, back to wellness, back to the balance. If I'm working at a wellness place, I should feel wellness. If I'm not feeling wellness, it's not aligning with what it's saying. How do I take that on for myself? So, this is the practice. Separate yourself from the place you work at. I'm sure people are like, duh, of course you do this, right? I work at Del Norte Sports and Wellness. And Kim, are you a member? Do you want to become a member? um, if you're not and you want to join, come see me. I'll sign you up. Anywho, or we could take classes together. All those followers out there that are with me, if y'all want to go take a class together, come on, Natalie, let's do it. I'm totally down. So, anywho, um, again, so I separated myself. So there's a beautiful sports and wellness, right? Or a place where I can go and I can disconnect. And so I decided to do that. And so I think that I'll travel around to the different ones so that I can disconnect from, right? So that I can disconnect myself and separate myself. That way I can bring myself back to wholeness. And so last night I didn't work out at the club that I work at. I went somewhere else and I did my workout there, and guess what? My headache went away. And I was able to bring myself back to my intention of why I am doing what I'm doing in this particular career, which is what? Supporting people to come to health. It's not that serious, right? It's a club membership. It is serious, but it's not serious, right? It is in the form that it can be a preventative measure for people's health because we want people to be healthy. I want people to prevent illness and chronic pain and all these other things that happen in the body when you don't take care of it. Why? Because I know I've been there. I've been in chronic pain. Cool. So do you work out there, Kim? Is that where you go? If you ever have anybody or friends or referrals, let me know too. There you go. I'm becoming a sales guru. I'm gonna call myself an enrollment specialist. Okay. I'm not a salesperson. Do never call me a salesperson. You call me an enrollment specialist, and I'm a health and wellness consultant. I give myself all these fancy titles. It's hilarious. But they like it. Maybe the company will pick up on it and want to use them. They say membership specialist, which is fine, but I'd rather say that I'm a health and wellness consultant because really it's like, what do you want to do with your health? Like, you'd be basic or whatever. So yeah, and then Kim, if you ever want to meet up for a class, or I don't do racquetball. Good morning, bestie. because I know that he was telling me that he did racquetball, and if they would not go lightly on me, and I don't want welts on my body. But I'll try tennis, even though I suck. Okay. But I'm learning, and that's the funny thing. It's kind of funny too, because I was sitting with a friend yesterday, and they're like, you're not a beginner at this." And I go, yes, I am. Remember, that's the big thing with the master. I don't need to pretend that I know everything, because I don't know shit. That's the reality. I don't. And it's okay to step into something new and to say, look, I don't know what I'm doing. I need support. Show me how to do this. Who has been successful, right? Who are the successful people? Who have been really good at like this thing? How do you come up with the process and balance it all? Those are the bigger questions. And that's why I step into these journeys, because at the end of the day, am I going to be in this position forever? No. I want to grow within the health and wellness industry. I'm starting here to understand it. And also, as I step into this new journey, I'm learning new things. I'm always learning. And I'm learning and having a deeper gratitude and appreciation for people who have done this their entire life. I tried to do it. So I'm going to tell you, it's like this. This is why I take these journeys too. I was looking for a job when I had quit. I was at a position for 8 years. Okay. It was at T-Mobile. And I was done. I was like, I can't do this anymore. Okay. So we come to that point where we know we just can't do it anymore, right? Or we're going to really get sick, or we need to walk away. If a job is making you sick, it is not for you. Get the heck out of there. There is no job that is worth your health. Your health is the most important thing that you have. Okay. So if you're feeling like sick, like I can't do this, like it's draining me, it's not exciting, it's not fun, it's not a journey, it's not an adventure, step away or don't. But there's a result for either one of them if you want to do that, correct? Okay, good. So I stepped away from this position, and I said, I just went out right after I quit, and I said, I'm going to find a job right now today. And for me, because I don't have to have fancy titles, and I don't have to have a big salary and that's not my motive ever. My motive is always just to go out and enjoy life. Okay. So what does that mean? Well, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to go out and I'm going to find a job. And it was 3 o'clock on a Friday or something. My friend's like, you're not going to find a job at 3 o'clock on Friday. And I was like, oh, watch me. So, so I went out and I found a job. Okay. And the job was a server at a restaurant. Okay. And it was like a bar restaurant. Okay. And I was like, I want to actually be a bartender. That's what I thought at the time. I was like, I'm going to be a bartender. Well, I thought I was just going to do it, right? Like I was just going to, well, no, there's this whole political arena around bartending and stuff. And all the bartenders kind of know each other. And there's this like competitive thing. It's really crazy, right? The psyche behind it. Anyway, I go there and they're like, well, you're going to have to serve first. And I was like, okay, I have to go up the chain. I have to start from the bottom. I get it. Okay. And so I go in and I have no idea what I'm doing. Like, trust me, you guys. Like, oh, she's intelligent. She could do this. Hell no. I am not a server. I suck at it. It was really bad. And I laughed the whole time, right? I was laughing because I'm like, what am I doing? Like, how do I get myself into these things? And it's because I jump in head first, right? I don't question. I don't need data. I just want the data for me. And this is the big kicker. This is what keeps us from actually stepping into something new, is that we want all this information. But the reality is the information they're giving to you is theoretical, because really it may not apply to you in your life. The way that you perceive a particular thing is going to be different from the way someone else perceives it. So although it may seem like, oh yeah, this is going to be good in theory, and you're like, hell no, this is not for me. This does not suit me. I cannot. So the guy who was hiring, I guess they had a high turnover. So the management wasn't the best. Okay. But he had higher turnover, and I was laughing the whole time that I was doing this. And in my head, I'm thinking, what are you getting yourself into, Natalie? What have you done now? And I was laughing at it, right? I wasn't upset about it. I was like, I am not coming back. So the guy was on the phone with the head manager and said, Well, it looks like we got to keep her. She has a smile on her face. It looks like she's enjoying it. And I'm like, oh no, he doesn't know what's the dialogue in my head is that I'm laughing at myself because I know that I'm not coming back and I'm laughing that, I was going to finish out my shift. I wasn't going to just walk out. I was like, okay, I'm going to do this till the end. But I just know it's not me. I just knew right away. I was like, no. So moving forward, what are higher positions that they have that you would like to evolve into? Okay, I'll tell you in a second, Jonathan. So, serving, right? And then, it's just funny. So at the end of the shift, I'm like, that's it. And they paid me for that day, which was good. So I left and I said, okay, whatever. And I just laughed. I was like, I'm not going back to that place. I suck at serving. I suck. But because I went through the process of doing it, because I was like, I'm not going to take this skill on and practice it and become a master at serving. I don't want to do that. Okay. That's just not for me. So I said, wow, it amazes me people who can serve. Now I have compassion for those who actually serve. So people that serve at restaurants, people that do big banquets, people that do these types of things, they are stressed out because it is not easy. And I know that because I tried it. Now, some people it may be easy for, right? But for me, it wasn't. So when someone's stressed out, I'm like, yeah, I get it. I get why they're stressed out. They're stressed out because this is not an easy job. Serving people's not easy. People are not easy. They want. And if they don't get it like this, they get upset with you. It's like, well, it's only me, you know? So again, the compassion shows up for people in those industries. And that's why I do these things. I am finding a newfound compassion for people who do enrollment, who are enrollment specialists. That's what you salespeople need to call yourself, enrollment specialists. Stop calling yourself sales because that ain't it. That ain't it. You're actually enrolling people. It's hard to enroll people into shit. It's not an easy task. And you think it would be easy because you're like, this is awesome. What are you thinking? Of course you want to do this. And it's like there's so much resistance, right, from it. But you're an enrollment specialist, and it's really not an easy, it's not. It is not easy. Okay. So how do you succeed? And you have people who've written books about, and I've read a ton of sales books, right? And people write about it. People write about the greatest salesman in the world, always do your best, even the four agreements you can kind of think is an opportunity to learn that it's mindset. You have Zig Ziglar, you have all of these people. Grant Cardone, you have all of the people who talk about sales, right? Really what they're talking about is how do you enroll people? How do you get people excited about what you're up to? How do you get people to buy or purchase the thing that you're asking them to purchase, right? So there's books on it. So here you go. This is enrollment. This is funny. You might laugh at me for this one, but this is enrollment school. This is for enrollment specialists for dummies because I'm a dummy at this point. Step number 1, learn how to separate yourself from your work so that you can stay healthy, because if you're not healthy, you ain't going to be able to do it. Put in a practice. Okay, this is step 1. And this is not just for people doing enrollment specialist things, but I'm talking about people who are actually don't separate themselves from work. Separate yourself from work. Please turn it off. Find a practice that allows you to turn it off. Now, I say turn it off because sometimes become overly, right, possessive or obsessive. Sorry, that's the word. Overly obsessive with what we're up to. And we're checking emails late at night. Disconnect. Give yourself, I don't even care if it's an hour. Disconnect from work. That is the number 1 thing that I'm going to tell you. And I'm talking about sales. I know people are like, it doesn't shut off. Yes, you need to. And the reason why, and I'm going to tell you why this practice is critical. Einstein, Da Vinci, who are some of the other great individuals? I want to start talking about women. I don't, okay, so anyway, let's just use those. they had to step away from their work too, because what happens is we put ourselves in a perpetual cycle. We stop getting results. You could think about this even in the body itself. Like, I was talking to a trainer and I said, if I keep doing the same shit over and over, my body stops getting results. If I want to take my body to the next level of fitness, I have to switch it up. I have to be able to switch it up. And rest in the body is one of the most important things that we have to do for ourselves, especially to take ourselves to level up. Why? When we get so ingrained in a task, and then we're like this, spiraling in circles and not getting anywhere, right? When that happens, we have to disconnect ourselves from that particular task, because what we're doing is wasting time. And when we separate ourselves and give ourselves some space to think and reset, we come back with new momentum and we're more efficient in our time. You have a spectacular day too, Rick. So again, it's about recognizing, how am I utilizing my time and am I being efficient? If you have a headache, you're not going to be efficient. You can get more done when your head is clear than when you have a headache. Step away. Get away. I'm going to highly encourage the people in my office that they do the same thing. They're always there, right? It's sort of the culture. And it's not by design. It's by practice. People think that they got to stay there because they think, if I stay here longer, I'm going to get better results. The reality is, if you step away, breathe a little bit, and come back with clear mind, because you can spiral into this dark space that doesn't serve you or others. And when you talk to people and you're trying to enroll them, you're not coming from a place of love. You're coming from frustration. People don't want frustration. Why would they want to do whatever or be whatever you're up to if you're frustrated? No. So I disconnected and it felt really good. And then I felt this morning like, oh, I feel good. It's not that serious. I was taking it way too serious. Stop taking it so damn serious. Okay? Please stop taking it so serious. And then I had some friends, of course, my besties, like, it's enrollment into a club now. Stop taking it serious. I'm like, yeah, you're right. And by serious, it's like I can disconnect and I can breathe. It's okay to breathe. It's okay to disconnect. Now, if you're like, well, I don't have the time. Yes, take an hour, take 30 minutes. I don't give a shit. Take some time. Make it a practice to take some time away to just check out whatever that is. And allow yourself to sleep and rest. Okay. Okay, what are your higher positions? What are the higher positions that they have? I don't know if it's a higher position that I want to take on. It's not really a higher position, Jonathan. It's more of a lateral, or it might not even be a lateral move. It might be a part-time into a fitness coach in some way. But I'm not 100% sure how that looks at this point, because I'm sort of a newbie. I've taken on my health and my wellness and stuff like that. And some people have asked me, oh, are you going to be doing training now? And I was like, no, I'm not there yet. But I will step into that eventually, where I'm training, or maybe I'm teaching cycling class, or I don't know. We'll see. I don't know where this journey is going to take me. And it's not, I know that I don't want to like be like higher management, that kind of thing. I want to be able to serve people with their health and wellness. I want to engage one-on-one with people. I want to be able to connect with people on their health and wellness goals, like that. And really maybe just be truly a health and wellness consultant, where I don't necessarily have to have all the information, but I can set them up so that they're successful in their lifestyle choices to get them healthy, and just taking little baby steps to get there. So it's going to be an evolution, and it's going to take time, and I'm okay with that. I don't need to jump into it right away. There are certain things that I get to be patient with. So that's another thing, is understanding what you get to be patient with in your life. What is it that you get to be patient with? There are things that you can teach yourself to be patient with, right? Rather than jumping into it right away, which is what I normally do. I just sort of jump into the pool and go. And that sometimes freaks people out. And I'm like, I'll learn it as I go along. Let's go. Because if I don't, I won't learn it. I can't just read things. I have to actually apply it. I'm an applied person. I want to apply the theories or the concepts and understand, is it working? Is it not working? Does it work for me or not? And I'm understanding their processes internally where I'm working, which is amazing. And if a process isn't working, I'm going to tweak it for myself. It's like, okay, I like Harry Potter, right? And I don't know, my Harry Potter friend's not on here today this morning, but I will say this. It's like, it's like Harry Potter, right? And we talked about this the other day with, if you guys watched the movie, when Professor Snape, right, the half-blooded prince, in the movie, Harry Potter receives this book and they're in potions, right? They're doing potions. Basically, they're doing chemistry, okay? And the instructions on the book are what they are. But he receives a book with notes like, do this instead of that, or do this instead of this, right? No one's telling this person, right, um, that they need to do this. They just know that they need to switch something. And so they do. And they do it for themselves. Their process is internalized for them to serve them so that they can get the result that they want. And that's a lot of what people don't understand. There are processes in place. If they don't serve you and they're not supporting you to get the result that you need to tweak things sometimes. Like, yeah, that process isn't working. I've done it over and over and over again. It's not working. So you've got to switch it up. So again, new, new. And when we talk about new, we talk about the hero's journey. Let's talk about that, what that is. The hero's journey, right, is the journey that a character starts out on. It's really the alchemic process in a storyline. Now, it's always the same. Every storyline is always a hero's journey, right? We know that the hero, and it's been written, and I can't remember who did the theory of the hero's journey. Um, I can't remember what philosopher it was. Okay, so I will find out. But if anybody on here knows, please tell us so that we remember. But we step into the hero's journey. And in the hero's journey, we start off as what we call is the fool. We don't really know. We're just stepping into something. And a character will come up and say, let's go. So think about Lord of the Rings, right? They're like Frodo or whatever it was. And they're like, okay, we're going to go on a journey, right? And they start to go on the journey. Okay. That is the alchemic process. Good morning, Victoria. That is the alchemic process that we start on. And it is the fool. Okay. We start off as the fool. Then we step into the world and we're like, okay, but we have everything we need. We have all the tools that we need. So if you think about the hero has everything they need. And we sort of went through this process before. Okay, then we step into the duality. But we still have all our tools with us. But the duality is where the confusion comes from for us. Because we are viewing ourselves as separate. And that's where the biggest lie for ourselves has come in, that we are separate when we're not. We are one. We are love. But we experience life as a duality, as a separation, rather than a wholeness, right? Because we're seeing with our eyes, and what we see with our eyes seems completely separated from who we are. Or when we hear, it's like I'm hearing because it's coming from separate from who I am. But it's all a part of the same whole. So it's kind of like like if you thought about a spider web, right? Where the spider web is all together, and that's why they call the great design like a spider web. They called the great mother in some native traditions was the mother spider who created the world. Well, the web, what is the web? We called the World Wide Web, which is the internet web, right? We call that a web. Why? We call our brains with our neurons and everything connecting. It's like a web. Why? Because it's all part of the same thing, but it seems like it's separate because it's in a different place, or it looks like it's in a different place, right? So if you thought about the spider web, and the spider web goes out and there's like maybe a drop of water here and a drop of water here, or a bug here and a bug here, caught in the web, that you would say it's still part of the same web, but it looks like it's separated, but it's connected in some way. But the duality is our biggest trick because we're like, how are we one? Well, the vibrational frequency of the voice carrying is a pattern that carries over the web to somebody's ear. It's part of the same continuum. It's not separate. It seems separate, but it's not. So it basically, let's just think about a voice and a person speaking. If a person speaks and this was like the web like the spider web going to the ear, right? There's this invisible sort of string, right? Like sometimes you can't see the spider web, right? And you walk right into it and you go, whoa, I didn't see that. So think of it that way. There's that invisible string that's streaming along the frequency pattern to hear, to tap into the ear, but it seems separate, but it's not. It's that invisible connection. So we step into the duality again, and then arises something new. Now, 1 and 1 is 2. When you put 2 together, you get 3, because if you thought about it from the perspective of relationships, like mother, father come together, and they have a little baby, creates the 3. Okay. And then the 4, which is the foundation. And then the 5, which is the laws, the rules, and chaos. And then the 6, which is choice. And then the 7, which is moving forward in life. How do I move forward? How do I move this forward? But you get a little further along and you have something called a tower event, which is everything collapses. Because part of the journey, right? And if you looked at the hero's journey from the alchemic process, you know that they run into their demons, right? They run in. Why? They have to go through this process in order to realize something else, to elevate into something. So they have to go through the darkness. That's why I say you've got to go through the shadow, you got to go through the fire. Can't escape it, and you have to go through it. Good morning, Mama. Mama says good morning. Oh, you're on camera. She's caught on camera. She says hi. Oh, you did you say hi? Oh, now she's hiding off of camera. Sorry, do you want me to move it? Yeah? Oh, okay, well, I don't want you to like have to like I'll just do that. There, you're off camera now. You're welcome. I don't like putting people on camera. I don't want to be on camera. So there you go. Let's read a tiny bit of the this book, since I keep saying that I'm going to read the book, but you guys know how it works. If I have stuff going on in my life that I can speak to, I will first. Only because I feel like it's beneficial to take real life examples from what I'm experiencing so that you know that I go through the shit. And then I'm not just talking about it. There's a practice to it. I go through the shit, you guys. Life's not peaches and cream for people who practice spiritual practices. You know, we have like those reverends and, you know, not to say anything, but, you know, they'll have a church and stuff and everybody will think their life's good. And then in the background, there's all this crazy like stuff going on. Well, you know, it's happened that way because they had to put on a fake facade or whatever that they were like perfect. Nobody's perfect. So when someone puts on a face that they're perfect, there's something really not right there. I'm like, okay, no. The practice of spiritual awareness and beingness is the hardest thing you'll ever do. It's not easy. Okay. Even for the monks that go and separate themselves, they separate themselves because it's easier to get there without all of the noise from the story or playing the game. When you step into the game, it becomes it becomes even harder to actually pull yourself out of the darkness because you have so much energy that you're absorbing, so many people, so many opinions, so many ways of people coming at you, this, that, the other. When you separate from yourself and you separate from that, it's easier to be with yourself and to transcend. But I still feel like that's too extreme because you're not really giving back the value to the population. So it's a really tricky thing to be in. It's very tricky. You learn so much more by engaging in the human condition. They can say there is suffering, but without experiencing the suffering from this particular place, which I would call the big grand illusion, right? Like stepping into the dream and playing in the dream. It's sometimes hard because it's like I got to remember I'm in a dream and work my way out and not take things so. But also, you're pulling people out of the shadows. You're like, come on, let's go. Give me your hand. Get out of the shadows. Let's go. You're gonna illuminate. Not easy. So when someone says it's perfect, that shit is wrong. I wouldn't even listen to them. That's probably ego. I say there's nothing right, wrong, good, or bad, but that was totally Natalie talking and not my Christ God self, okay? Okay. Okay, every human has his or her own personal dream, and just like the society dream, it is often ruled by fear. We learn to dream hell in our own life, in our own personal dream. The same fears manifest in different ways for each person, of course, but we experience anger, jealousy, hate, envy, and other negative emotions. Our personal dream can also become an ongoing nightmare if we suffer and live in this state of fear. But we do not need to dream a nightmare. It is possible to enjoy a pleasant dream. That's what I was just talking about, okay? All of humanity is searching for truth, justice, and beauty. We are on an eternal search for truth because we only believe in the lies we have stored in our mind. We're searching for justice because in the belief system we have, there is no justice. So this is sort of like I'm get to be happy. That's what you're saying is I'm not happy. You would just be happy if you were happy. No, you wouldn't have to state it. It's just a state of being. And that's what Jonathan was talking about yesterday, the state of being. To be happy is just to be happy. You're just happy. You don't have to say, I get to be happy or I choose to be happy. It's just be happy. You don't even have to say it, right? It's just the essence that you embody of the beingness of it, okay? So if you say that you, like, I want to be happy, you're saying I'm not happy, okay? Again, think about this speech. We search for beauty because it doesn't matter how beautiful a person is. We don't believe that person has beauty. We keep searching and searching when everything is already within us. There is no truth to find. Wherever we turn our heads, all we see is the truth. But with the agreements and beliefs we have stored in our mind, we have no eyes for the truth. Good morning, Chris. That I love to say. Wherever we turn our heads, all we see is truth, okay? And we're always searching for the truth. Guess what? You are the truth. That's it. Simple. We keep searching and searching when everything is already within us. I like that one too because we're searching outside of ourselves. We're always searching outside of ourselves for the answers, for validation. Should I do it this way? Should I do it that way? What do you think? How do you looking for others' opinions? And it's like, what do you think? People get mad at me. I'm like, what do you think? Because what I think is irrelevant. Who gives a shit what I think? Literally, who cares? What do you think about yourself? Because what I think is you're amazing, you're enough, you matter, you're beautiful, you have all these gifts and talents. That doesn't matter. I've had belief in people, and let me tell you what's happened. They've spiraled into drugs, alcoholism. They don't think they're enough. And I've had friends commit suicide. I've had friends die of alcoholism. I've had so much. And I'm looking at them and saying, how did you not see it? And I told them how much I loved them and how beautiful they were and how much they had to offer and there's talent and they were talented is all hell and stuff. And did it matter? No. So what I have to say doesn't matter. It's meaningless. What do you have to say about yourself? That's the question. Do you trust yourself with the choices you're making? Even bigger question. Sometimes we don't trust ourselves with the choices we make. Sometimes we're like, I don't know, I'm going to do it. And you just choose. And then when you do, You find out real quick if it's for you or not. You'll know. And then you'll be like, okay, I ain't going to choose that again because that shit ain't working out for me. Sorry for my cussing. I should not be cussing so much, but it's just funny. Life is funny, man. It's an interesting concept. Life. I'm sorry, those on Podbean. I'm drinking water. I'm a little dehydrated, okay? Okay. This is not your typical podcast where I have to be perfect, right? And then not drink water. And someone's like, oh, I'm getting off. Okay. So there's no truth to find. Wherever we turn our heads, all we see is truth. But with the agreements and beliefs that we have stored in our mind, we have no eyes for this truth. We don't see the truth because we are blind. What blinds us are all those false beliefs we have in our mind. We have the need to be right and to make others wrong. Okay, this is a huge one. I'm going to stop here. We could talk forever about this particular thing. Let's just see. We trust that we believe, and our beliefs set us up for suffering. We trust what we believe in, our beliefs set us up for suffering. Okay. We believe we're right and wrong. This is a huge one. And I've talked about this before. Okay. As long as God stands beside you, no one will stand up against you. Yes. Amen. I feel you have to believe in yourself, live yourself. Me, I know I'm a good person and true beliefs. Yeah. True believers in God and the Holy Bible. Yes. As long as your intention, your intentions will always be revealed no matter what. That's the way life works. The truth will always be revealed. So if your intentions are good, it'll always show up that way. If people don't believe you, it's not your problem. As long as you know, trust yourself. You don't need to convince people. People will see it in your actions. People will see it in the way that it comes out. If it's pure intentions, eventually they're going to understand it. They have to. There's no ill intent. If you think it's ill intent, then that's not my problem. That's you projecting maybe that you have ill intentions or whatever it is. So my intentions are good. Perfect. And that's the beauty of all. How are your intentions? And they always show up, right? They're going to show up that they're good. Now, sometimes we're firm and people think that we don't, but we know in our heart of hearts that we're here to serve and support others. Now, being right and wrong about something, that's huge. That's a huge one. And perhaps something we can go into for weeks on end about who's right, who's wrong, and the belief system and facts. And I've done this before. I've talked about it before. You guys hear the same stuff over and over again, but you might forget, or I might say it in a different way, or I might have a different story that makes better sense than the way I explained it before. Is right, wrong, good or bad, doesn't exist. We think we're right and we want to be right. And because of that, we will push people out of our lives. People we love. People that we probably don't want to. Because we have to be right. Right about what? I've had this in my own family. Right about who lost the key and who did it. Who gives a shit? The key's lost. Doesn't matter. Does it matter? Well, maybe to them, perhaps. The key's lost. But in that particular thing, the things that magnify around something like this is like who's right, who's wrong. Holding on to being self-righteous over something like that, is it worthy of the heartache that's going to come from that? That's my question. And if the answer is no, then get over it. Or say, how do we take steps forward, right? Now, if a person says, I have to be right about this, and they hold on to that, and it's not self-serving, eventually it'll draw them into either hardness or depression, whatever it is for something so small. But there's a bigger trauma in there. It ends up seeded from the subconscious mind of why this particular situation has triggered a person. Good morning, Marcus. In the subconscious mind, we play it out, and then we have to be right about it. And This just happened the other day. It's like I have to be right about this. And then a big explosion happened. But after the explosion came the harmony. And I think as people, we don't want to be wrong. We don't want to just say, okay, I'm wrong, or maybe I don't need to be right. Oh, good morning, yes. I was talking about you earlier. I was talking about Snape. Did the Harry Potter. I'll be using Harry Potter quite a bit since you're on here because I love Harry Potter too. Okay. So, okay. So being right about something. Now, here's the opposite end of that, right? It's like someone's like, but what if I know I'm right? I'm like, is it worth fighting over? Is it worth losing the friendship over? And if it is, then you say, okay, I'm going to be right. You can leave my life. But if it's not, just it's okay. You don't, maybe they're not there. Like sometimes I say things and people are like, what? Like it sounds great. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. And I'm like, it's okay. I don't have to be right about it. Or people will say, this is my belief. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'm not going to force you into the way I think. You don't have, I'll give you an explanation, a very clear explanation why I think the way I think and why I stand firm in what I believe. That doesn't mean you have to believe it. You'd be like, you're crazy. I don't believe anything. Okay, that's fine. You don't have to. This is not a force, right? And it's an open conversation, and I don't have to be right about everything I believe. And I'd rather not. I'd rather understand other people's perspectives because it may give me some more information that I need to be a better person, to be a better human being. It's that simple. Why do you got to hold on to your, you know, listen to people? Now, on the opposite end of that, it's like, well, what if I'm always saying, okay, you're right and I'm wrong, and I continue to live that way? That's becoming a doormat. So, again, there are ways that you utilize the tool as long as you understand what's going on. If you understand the function and you understand what's going on, then you can better engage it. That communication becomes clearer. That's it. We're just, again, we're trying to communicate what our experience is. Good morning, Carlos. You have a great day too. Okay. I hope this makes sense for you guys because being right or being so self-righteous. I know people like this. And guess what? It's very painful to be around them, right? Because it's like there's no place for you to be able to have your own way of thinking. It's like I know the right way to think and that's it. Everybody should think like me. But no, everybody's not going to think like you. It's just not. Are you streaming this on Castbox too? I don't know what that is, but I'll take a look at it. I don't know what Castbox is. I'm new to the vocal Podbean world or podcast world. I do Facebook Live, so I've been doing live videos for a long time. Okay, so being right, being wrong, putting yourself in those situations, communicating. Look, I don't need to be right about this. It's okay. You have your belief. I have mine. We can agree to disagree. It's all good. Oh, another podcast platform. Perhaps I could if it made it easy. If you feel you have to stand strong on what you believe. Yeah, I mean, if look, the thing is I'm not saying not have um I'm not saying not to have your own opinions and stand firm in them. I'm just saying when if you love somebody and it's not going to make a difference either way, you cannot change the minds of other people. They've got to be willing to change themselves. Period. So your belief system and the way you believe is beautiful. It's your belief. But not everybody's going to believe the way you do. In fact, nobody will because nobody's living in your body. No one's seeing the world the way you see it. No one's standing in your shoes. No one has all of the stories you have. No one's lived the life you have. Even a household with the same parents, there's a different way of viewing it for each individual kid and perception and parents might have been in a different place when they had their first kid than when they have their second kid. And so there's a whole different way of approaching. I mean, there's all these different factors that make us who we are. Nobody has the same journey. Nobody. So our beliefs can be, good morning, Darian, can be super firm and strong. Perfect. I do. I have a belief system that's strong, but I don't have to be right about it for other people. I don't have to say you're wrong because I'm right. I don't have to. Why? Because I know what my beliefs do for me, and that's fine. They work for me. Now, if someone's interested in knowing, I'm going to tell them, here's what I believe. And people have asked my opinion. What do you believe about this? What do you believe about that? I have people reach out to me all the time. And really, at the end of the day, I just redirect it right back at them. Because the reality is, it doesn't matter what the hell I think. It's not my journey. It's theirs. Okay. So this is a huge one, being right and the need to be right and the need to look good and all this stuff. And that's a big one too in our society, is looking good, looking good, looking good. Title, 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 title. People love titles in America. They just love it. So what do you do? I remember this. So what do you do? I was like, oh, I work, here. Oh, so what do you do there? And as soon as I told them, oh, I could even see their posture change. And I'm like, really? I'm just another person doing work. My skill set is what it is. Doesn't matter what the title says. You can get a freaking, and this is the perfect example, you can go out and get a certificate. Like my nutrition coach was saying, you could get a nutrition certificate. Anybody could do it. But what you do with that certificate is what matters. The title doesn't matter. It's what do you do with it? Who cares about the title? I don't. I make up titles. People love them. I do it because it's fun. Like, I call myself a health and wellness consultant. And people are willing to take you serious rather than something else, right? But it's because we love title. But title doesn't mean shit. Title has no meaning. And I don't expect them to believe what I believe or how I think. One can all think differently. I totally respect everyone. Yes, I know you do, Auntie Christine. I know. Um, and it's good because you stand firm in your own beliefs as well, which is what I do too. I have a very strong belief system. And it's strong and firm, but it doesn't mean that it's not open and ready to receive new information, because that's what's critical. There's always new information coming in from everywhere, from different people, different walks of life, people that were raised in a whole new, different worldview. They see life differently, engage life differently. You feel a different energy from them. I mean, it's just, there's so much. So amazing, actually, this world. It's crazy interesting. Every person on the planet has their own unique personality. Isn't that just amazing? How does that happen? Like, there's no way, how could you deny that there's a God? Like, at the core, we're the same and stuff, but our thoughts and the way that we behave are so uniquely different. The gifts, the talents, the this, the that, it's pretty cool. The design, the way that God has created or manifest God's self in us, through this beautiful world, through the cosmos. I mean, everything that has been created is very, very, very cool. It's interesting. It's like, holy crap, each person, think about that. Just think about it. Make you feel there's no way you could deny God. How could you deny God? Every single person on the planet has their own unique personality. There are no two people that think exactly alike. No way. No, there's going to be some differences. You could get people that are very close to thinking the same way, and there's still going to be a difference. What's the difference? The way they brush their teeth, or what they think about taking care of their teeth, or whatever it is. Or maybe one has to wear contacts, the other one doesn't. And why? That changes the perception and how they engage life. I mean, it's just quite amazing. It's quite amazing. So there you go. Yeah, there's a lot of hate, but there's also a lot of love as well. There's lovers too. There's both. We have both. And the ones that hate really are looking for the lovers. Good morning, Tiffany. So quite amazing, right? It's life is pretty amazing. You make my day with your left, young lady. Thank you. Thank you, Betty, for coming. Being on here. I love you. I never got my orange marmalade. I don't know what happened. We just never connected. My bad. I think it was my kind of my fault. I apologize. Okay. So there you go. Okay. Couple of things. One, if you're totally engaged in your work and you're not separating yourself, wrong answer. Separate yourself. I don't care if it's 10 minutes, 15 minutes, an hour, whatever you take it for yourself. Okay. To stay healthy, disengage, disconnect. One. Okay. Super critical. Two, we can engage in the game. And if we are engaging in the game, have fun with it at least. Find the joy in the game that you're playing. If you're in a position where you're not engaging the game that you want to and you're getting sick, is it worthy of being sick? Probably not. And ask yourself, how do I take myself and disconnect from this particular thing and start to focus on the things that are supporting me? And three, we went over, okay, this is the third. We went over being right and wrong and what that means. Having to be right about self-righteous. I still have it. I have another gift for you. I do believe you're just going to absolutely. Betty, you're so cute. Thank you so much. As it gets colder, I'm gonna wear my little head thing. um, okay. So today, just ask yourself, how am I aligning myself a little closer to what brings joy to my heart? To what ignites the joy in my heart, I should say. Okay. Also, Saturday, 1 o'clock, I'm going to have a special series guest, my friend Lisa Galindo. She's a life coach. She will be on here. Please, 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 please join because it can be amazing. And I love my Lisa. She's amazing. She's done the work as well. And she's such a good hearted person. Like her to the core, her heart is beautiful. She's so loving and kind. She's taught me how to be a little bit gentle and kind and compassionate. I think that compassionate. I think that's something that we all could use a little more of, right? What comes to head at the morning? What is the best way to mess up my day? Wow, really? Like purposely you want to mess up your day? My joy is having God in my life and my family. So your disconnect is in the words that you're using, perhaps. Asking yourself why you're asking why you want to mess your day up. That's my question to you. Why do you want to mess your day up? So, okay, so I get to go because I have obviously have work, but I love you guys and I will be seeing you guys tomorrow. And I love you. And I would say because I have to end this, I have to go, that every day is another opportunity to learn how to love yourself and little baby steps. Little baby steps. It doesn't have to be like, oh, I think I'm so great, blah, 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 blah. It's not what I'm saying. But really address what it is internally that you don't like about yourself. But baby steps. And don't be hard on yourself if it's hard for you to switch it over. That's the biggest thing, too. People think, oh, I can't do this. Da, da, da. Why is it so easy for others? Stop comparing yourself. For you, it's going to be uniquely different how you get out of this mindset into love for self. But baby steps, and don't be so hard on yourself if you're like, I don't know what I'm doing. It's okay. No one does. You're not alone. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Everybody has these feelings. You just probably been made wrong for having them. That's what I'm guessing. That's what I'm guessing. So there you go. Have a fantastical day. I love you, and I will see you guys tomorrow